The Beverly Hillbilly here for CogWork Gaming. Come along as we do our very first video game review as we look at Freedom Planet, brought to us by Galaxy Trail. Now, Freedom Planet is an interesting creature. It was originally developed probably for 5 people to play. It was a simple third-party tribute to Sonic the Hedgehog. But Steven Diduro, the game's lead creator, said that making a game with this purpose in mind was, and I'm quoting from the Freedom Planet Wikipedia page, becoming a waste of time because I was ultimately creating something in the shadows of the established franchise. So, with this in mind, does Freedom Planet simply imitate Sonic and pluck on our nostalgia heartstrings, or does Freedom Planet, while taking gameplay from 90s classics that make them so memorable, combine them with new and fresh ideas, elevate 2D platforming into something new, or at the very least, a higher level that 2D platforming could have become? So let's take care of the elephant in the room. Yes, at first glance, this looks exactly like a possible Sonic ripoff, and there have been Sonic ripoffs before. The levels look a little different, but with things like the loops that you run through and the plungers, hey, people are going to say Sonic ripoff and dismiss the game. They may even dismiss Lilac, the main character, because she looks like she could be a dragon cousin to Sonic. But I gave this game an honest try. Okay, so for the storyline. Now, I'd like to keep this light because every game on the Sega Genesis kept the storylines pretty light. 20 years ago, as gamers, we didn't care about storylines the way we do now. So I like to go over a quick 90s storyboard checklist. Number 1, Tranquil Homeworld, trying to imitate what we thought Asia was like in 1994. Number 2, evil bad guy comes to Homeworld and causes havoc. Number 3, lone surviving weird alien dude follows evil bad guy to the Homeworld. And number 4, giddy group of heroes are quickly introduced to save the world from destruction.
Can't you be Little Miss Hero Pants some other time? Not a chance!
But before you take your hindsight hammer of hate down, I want you to remember for a minute what storylines were like in 1990. They were borderline non-existent. And, if I remember correctly, Sonic games didn't explain anything. Ever. Now look, this may be 2015, and we love our stories, and we love them to be very juicy, but when you're inspired to make a game that leaps off of 90s classics, a story has to be fairly light. Freedom Planet does this very well. But quickly, I want to tip my hat to Galaxy Trail for trying, and they tried hard because although the story was light and the game isn't very long, it's a very nice story. And the voice acting, which was beautiful,
you know this guy.
Even though at times it can be a little cheesy.
Girl.
She's like my tail, always right behind me.
Okay, so for the controls, look, how many times have controls in a video game just not work out? They'll either feel unnatural, or they sometimes don't even register when you hit the button. And then there are those times that make you think, hey, my controller would make a great addition sticking out the front of my flat screen TV. Well, you never get that feeling here in Freedom Planet. The controls are very, very nice. Again, a lot of thought went into how it felt and how it worked when you hit a button and how it looks on the screen. And this is where Lilac and Sonic look like two completely different characters from two completely different games. While Sonic felt like a coked out John DeLorean with the weight of one of his questionably aged hookers, Lilac does have a notable weightiness to her. She does feel like she has the weight of a average sized teenage girl that does not suffer from anorexia or bulimia. I think this enhances the gameplay because instead of just being able to hit one button being like, I'm going this way and doing this, oh, now I want to go this way and do this, you get to see it all happen because it's slowed down a little bit, and it forces you to think about each movement and enjoy it because you have to think about it. But if you still want to fly through the levels, the controls still let you do that very smoothly. Okay, so for the graphics, let me be one to say, and I'm sure others will criticize me in some way for reviewing the graphics of this game like so. I am one of the biggest haters of indie developers' ideas to just 8-bit and 16-bit everything to try to go for that cheap pluck at our nostalgia heartstrings. I paid way, and I mean way too much for my PC to play video games that a Sega Genesis won't even sweat over. But a game like this is a straight up throwback to our gaming childhood, and Freedom Planet plays this role and owns it. You know, you look at the game and okay, this looks like the graphics are comparable to Sonic the Hedgehog 1. But, you know, you play through it the first couple levels and you look at the graphics, you look at everything, and you realize, wow, I remember why I loved Sega Genesis games. I remember why I still swoon over them. But I want to save that thought for the end. But in short, the graphics aren't even of this century, but the bright colors and the beautiful world designs, including all the characters and even the bad guys and everything, they're amazingly beautiful. And it reminds us that beauty in video games lies outside of HD and 1080p. So let's get to the nitty-gritty of this review and review the actual gameplay. Now, I want to let everyone know that although there are 3 main characters that you can play throughout the game, I only chose to use Lilac for this review to help draw a cleaner comparison between Lilac and the game's major inspiration, the Sonic the Hedgehog original series. So, does Freedom Planet simply imitate, or does it innovate and elevate? Well, holy surge, it does elevate. This is no mere copy or some stupid throwback trying to needlessly and do a poor attempt of plucking at our nostalgia heartstrings. These levels are very fluid and they shine if you want to go fast, but if you don't want to, that's okay. Although you're not going quite as fast as Sonic was, you're still going fast enough to like where you can be doing it like, oh yeah, this is just like how it used to be, because it was done so well and so much thought was put into that aspect of the game. But if you want to slow it down, the worlds have so much to offer. Each level does feel different, and there's different ways to navigate them. There's even a water world that doesn't suck. Yes, a water world that does not suck, take my word for it. The music, again, loved it. I was not expecting much, to be fair, but it's clear that Galaxy Trail put a lot of thought into it, and it comes out beautifully. So I give them credit for the great music. The action, again, because you're not going quite as fast, the game is a lot more combat-based than what Sonic was. Lilac does have basic attacks, and, you know, it's just a couple buttons for attacks with a jump, but they never feel bland and boring, where you don't feel like you're overpowering grunts, but at the same time, you feel like you have what it takes to take on each boss battle. And these boss battles, oh my god. Gunstar Heroes, Dynamite Heady, all rolled into the one. Saying this is like Sonic, no. Gunstar Heroes, over the top, explosions everywhere. The only thing missing is Arnold Schwarzenegger. But it's not overdone. I feel like it's done in good taste. Galaxy Trail again demonstrates that they have good taste, and they do not overdo it. Where you can still sit down and be like, okay, I got to dodge, learn patterns, and counter the boss's attacks. You're still going to die a lot, but bosses should be hard. Why aren't boss battles this hard anymore? Now, yes, at the end, the bosses of this game are needlessly hard, but hey, boss battles should be hard. And I applaud Freedom Planet for being hard and being like, nope, this is it. Boss battle's tough. I don't want to hear your whining. And you know what? I found it extremely satisfying when I did finally beat the bosses, because through trial and error and those 90s boss fight ass-kicking skills you had to bring down and dust off are put to good use. And lastly, the verdict. Look, this is an easy one. Love the game. I cannot recommend this game high enough. However, the real point of this game is Field Trip. Those rose-colored shades, those teary-eyed times, remembering that sometimes being a kid was really fucking awesome. Freedom Planet is one of those very rare times that reminds us of A, how awesome being a gaming kid was, and how amazing games of yesteryear really were. Because look, you know, yes, the classics are legendary. It's the reason why we're at this point now in gaming. This is why games are amazing. But look, the 90s weren't perfect. And there are reasons why we advanced in every way since 1994. Freedom Planet is going back in time as 28-year-old me, grabbing 12-year-old me from out in front of the Sega Genesis, and I can plant them right in front of Freedom Planet and be like, look man, there are times that the ideas were right the first time, that we just needed to mature and truly understand what appreciation is, and learn about innovation, and we need to revel in those few moments that we really relive our awesome childhoods. So, in closing, drop that AAA title. Yes, drop Assassin's Creed 13. It will not include faces. I don't care what they say. But lay it down. Because it's going to make the same mistakes over again. Because AAA titles don't innovate. They don't do anything new. They go for the easy money. It's a sad truth. But with indie developers, and notably so, Galaxy Trail, Freedom Planet delivers. Freedom Planet is the field trip that you want to take. And I'll be driving that bus handing out rose-colored glasses. So come join myself in Galaxy Trail and enjoy Freedom Planet and relive your childhood innovated in the right way. For CogWork Gaming, I'm the Beverly Hillbilly. Thank you so much for joining us for our first video game review. Please like the video below and share this with your friends